Welcome to Dungeon Master 39, where nothing is what it seems and everything is what's in dreams. Excuse me. I got lost for a minute there and ran into Dungeon 39, and it's not quite what I expected. I mean, it's so full of languishing visuals and oil paintings and these restored looking worlds of Dungeon Master frivolity, and I love that we're here. I love that you're here with me, and we're gonna see what's down in the happy trail of all of these Dungeon Masters all put into one. And then we don't expect to know what courage we may need to continue on a Dungeon Master. This level could, in fact, inherently give us the courage to go on, but that I don't have much courage anyway is not to say that it's not because it hasn't been mashed up and taken out of me. But darling dear, if you know I was coming to save you, you would cheer, because this is what you'd see instead. Now, I don't know if you're singing along to what you're hearing right now, probably not, but that doesn't change that Dungeon Master's been stuck in Dungeon 39 for weeks, now days, now it seems like years, but it usually has been years. I mean, just think, says the cowboy. 100 years could have gone by, but only 5 years have gone by since the great Dungeon Master has first belayed the world. See, you can read that across there. The great Dungeon Master has belayed the world with 2 other versions, 3 at least. None so far as successful as this, the Dungeon Master, and that, the Dungeon Master on Apocrypha Facebook. But we must obey all things, YouTube, and inherently know that what they do is worthy and true, and that every arrow I throw down the Lone Star Trail, I ride the range in a Ford yippee-ki-yay, frickin' yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay, mofo. That's where they got it from. Well, you know, that cartoon probably was on at the time during Dungeon Master. And that his hand from the Rio Grande meant about nothing to him but anything. And he's turning to hear your plea. And he's turning back to me. And he says, "Come forth, come hither. You will see my agenda, getting wounds from a sky that was not to be nigh." But then we came on, said the gold standard, and that was what made us all broke too when we went to the zoo, and there was just a frog or two, and I saw a perfect canoe, and I can't read the yippee-ki-yay mofo. And so we press on with the wild, and we see a stage before us. On the stage, a stage, and a stagecoach on the stage of the stage. And there is an arrow through a hat. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that something else out there, something beautiful, something wonderful, is coming our way. And if this could, I don't know what's going to happen here. We may want to skip past this commercial iconography that applies to us only, in that we're probably paying them to show this, but is not paying everything to show this, the wild of nature. And we run through Dungeon Master as if it is not without paradigm to see before the night is steady and there was nothing left of the animation that was in my mind. That to come before, you would have had to have sailed to the great distances. But I have been angry about things I should not have been, I told the Cyclops, but there was 2 of them. because they were the Siamese Cyclops, yes, and that's what Sinbad just said, but that the Cyclops with 2 heads and 4 eyes came to smash him from the skies. And now the epic is fading in to what we need more to win. Win Sinbad. Scare him off. Tell him that tomorrow's off. And if it's Facebook Apocrypha today, tell him we tried hard anyway. And then the turkey buzzard will alarm clock you into his house. Yes, you can come in for the last time. Oh, I don't know. It's just the music's so solemn, Dungeon Master. It sounds like we're at a funeral or someone great just died and Sinbad's alive and he's fighting a snake and he's gonna kick its ass or its face. He's gonna kick its face, man. That's what I'd do to that snake. I swear, man, if I was brave enough to confront him at all, I'd kick him in the nose, dude. Sinbad's trying to sing along. Whoa. Lost dimension. Lost dimension. I liked it better that way. It was less distracting. Now I'm sitting here reading the title the whole time. You're telling me that we're supposed to be watching it? Mayday, mayday, mayday. This may end up on Facebook Apocrypha. So you can see him saying that. But what is there? But what is there? Sorry, I'm learning my phrases in English while I shout. Oh, I know what you mean. The English, they'll expect you to speak American there. I mean, I only speak... Well, I'm not going to say what languages because that'll make me an ethnic stereotyper. I don't do that on Popeye because then we'd be all kinds of political correct trouble. And when I get in political correct trouble, I tend to get a little... Well, I can't even say the word because that's technically politically incorrect, and we're okay. Okay, we're gonna turn into some other movie here. I mean, second phase, third phase. This is not a movie yet. We need a lot more pictures and lights and fancy things and things nobody's ever seen before, and that's not happening. Everybody's seen this part of the cartoon, haven't they? Of course they have. Everyone's seen that ghost pop out. Come on now. It's the oldest cartoon in the book. Might even be Casper the Friendly Ghost, and if it's Casper the Friendly Ghost, my ghost will come sailing out of my chest and will circle the fire. Oh, he's circling the fire. Anyway. Alright, well, we turn into Spook Jones and his 7 creeps, and we're hearing their music already, although they're doing a version of Wagner's Parsifal that I hadn't quite heard since Von Karajan conducted the symphony. And now we look before us into the night, the cagey ways of wires flight, while we circumspect the autumn light. We see no other gift in flight, for the courage that would take us might be too much to ask for spite. And the dancing trousers continue to light the way, don't you think? I mean, don't you think Dungeon Master has something else on his mind than a googly-gaggly ghosty goo? And you're telling me that this is supposed to cheer me up as this dungeon? I think it's a guardian. It's a threshold guardian, but he's got a smile on his face and he's turning into a jumbotron again. I've got rhythm, I've got music, I've got my ghost. Who could ask for anything more? No, that's not what he's saying. It says, I've got my ghost. Oh, okay, smile, boys. What was that with the... Is that like Boys in the Hood? Rewind that. No, don't rewind anything in Dungeon Master. It fucks everything up. Excuse my language. Now, what does that say? I'm just gonna go somewhere else on this. I'm smiling. You think I'm smiling? Hey, the last person I saw smile was Threshold. God, in another battle. Oh, he's turning into fire. Okay, I'm not gonna get too scared of him. I'm going in. Okay, that's just bad language. Now, since it won't come in, Lucifer, whose cartoon is this? Well, now I don't feel so scared that the devil's in this cartoon. I am only afraid of Christian cartoons that cast holy demons into my realm and then bespake me unto their waver of that type of form of Christianity. But the devil revealeth only himself to be the opponent of all, and I don't really believe any of that, but I'm just telling you what I learned at church yesterday. Because I had to go and really, I said I'd do an independent study, and I learned that the universe is made of an egg, but yeah, I can't explain that all to you. Now, I don't like the way they use that word in Dungeon Master just now, and I'll just let it go, because I've spent a lot of time trying to get rid of that word, and a real other word that was just a bad word. No, I don't. I'm not blaming the Fleischers for this, but there's some language in here. Excuse me. There's some language in here that I just wouldn't use because kids don't need to see it, and we know only kids are watching this, and that kids aren't really supposed to be watching Dungeon Master, are they? Shake your head, everybody say no, kids aren't supposed to be watching Dungeon Master. And that they'll say, but it has a bunch of kids' cartoons. Of course, kids are supposed to be watching it. And I'll shake my head and say, no, kids aren't supposed to be watching Dungeon Master. But then again, that's a kids' favorite shows kids' favorite shows to watch. Aren't they the shows they're supposed not to watch? No, everybody says Dungeon Master shakes his head. All right, so now we know that this is for only those that can handle Wizards of the Coast. And that I, officially unsummon Wizards of the Coast for now. No, I'm summoning them back because we need them to repair the cartoons. So we'll have to go back into that maze eventually. Now here's a better one because we have classic expectations with a few of these old Mother Hubbard living in the shoe types. And we've all seen this on Grimm's Fairy Tale 300 times, and the Mother Goose and Father Goose are all over this. This is the ultimate intersection of all things fairy tale, the woman who lived in a shoe. She totally lives in a shoe. It's not even Humpty Dumpty's favorite thing to make fun of because he's got gold coins coming in his purse. And I don't really think he's too sad about anything. He's another one of those happy. He's practically a threshold guardian. If I could really push him off a wall or something, he'd have a great fall. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that always meant that it would be a great fall, like an autumn would be a great fall. And that this time, the maze seems so giant seems so worthwhile to go on because from a golden goose or something, Humpty got his coin, and they say the Shrek version of this was weird. And the Shrek version of this at least followed the original Robert Rodriguez screenplay. I mean, come on now. Now look, he's yawning, he's waving, and he's amazed at just nothing. There's nothing to be amazed about, and he's still amazed. This amazes me. And that the name of this cartoon is Greedy Humpty Dumpty makes me really like these animators because that means they're selling everything they're buying and they're spending lots to make you a greedy Humpty Dumpty. All right, that sounded a little weird. That's creepy. Humpty Dumpty's starting to creep me out. That's great. If I wanted to cook an egg and the universe started with an egg, then I'm really not sure why I'm feeling kind of leg? No, that's Betty Boop. Sorry. Oh, shit. It's just a cartoon. It's just a cartoon, man. It's just a cartoon. Whoa, she's like traveling in like weird... Is that how it really looks when it's taken in different forms on the... One speed is different than the other on this frame. It's like she's stuck in the middle of a low frame count and up frame count. And all we see is her movements every second, not all 24 moves a second. So that's the digital transfer it got on this? Well, we like that. Let's see if that gets any better up here. Well, it's kind of interesting the way it's not quite persistence of vision. See, persistence of vision would make it seem like it's moving without interruptions. It's not our timeline, that everything's burning down, that the train's going upward. We expected completely because we saw the part of the cartoon where it then came back down, and then they drove quite a race car to the mission fold, and they freaking blew it through the sky, man, and shot that Santa Claus looking dude right to the moon. I think they were gonna brush the skywalk with the airbrush. There we go. Alright. Now, nothing can adjourn my feelings about the latest rule we put in the book, which is hook everybody up to a fish hook and play Puppet Master with them. And that we've already come to some kind of drastic fulfillment of the Dungeon Master retire. There's only one thing that can heal us. One thing. And that is our love for money. And how we need money so we can give more money to YouTube. And every quarter, every penny I have goes to YouTube, and I lunk it before their very feet. And then I rob banks for YouTube is just the beginning. Because now YouTube has provided me with more of these luscious, vicious, wonderful, kosher cartoons. And that these dogs are burying a bone is such a ritual sacred that now that the frames are going the right way again, it's blurring out me digitally? How could this be, Dungeon Master? Well, I'm saying that because we got blotted out twice in a row, we might as well shoot this one for, a smaller dungeon or something. I don't know, Dungeon Master. This one could be rife for a 3-hour marathon. 3-hour marathon? Who told you about that secret? That secret of 3-hour marathons, ha. I've heard of some marathons longer, but I won't go into it. Now, if you really think I'm going to binge watch more of these absurd, locust-attracting, devilish, you saw Lucifer used in that one, like you're trying to hide that Porky the Pig isn't in league with the devil? As all cartoons are. I mean, if they're going to be animated, they're going to be reanimated, right? And if they're going to be reanimated, they're still cartoons. Well, I'll be. Well, that's just quite a fortunate thing you thought of, Dungeon Master, because I didn't think before that there was any real peril to these dungeons, but shoo, that looks pretty perilous. I wouldn't want to mess with that. If I'd messed with that once and gotten beaten down for it, then I wouldn't go around that way again, you know what I'm saying. Well, okay, Dungeon Master. Oh, I am Dungeon Master. I'm talking to myself. Well, okay, I can check it out, and then if it gets dangerous, I'll give you this bone back. And if I do, then we'll just separation of church and state. Okay, we should be good. Now, here is the bone that you were wanting so bad to be yours. And I want to give it to you, yes, you, to clearly pave the way to a golden horizon when nothing can be foreseen but the scene itself, and that we're roughing down our choices on Dungeon Master can mean the next phase. The next phase might be the most insane thing you've seen in a while from the Warner Brothers. And I do know that this is just an insinuation, but what does he mean by 90-day wondering? What happens in 90 days? Well, it's something that happened before the 90 days that I think they're talking about, which they can never talk about in cartoons. But Dungeon Master just wanted you to see the opening frame of this. Just wanted you to see the very thing that we've all been talking about our whole lives. And that this is the cast horizon of a new era that can take home a certainty that there is love in the universe no matter where you look. Because we all thought that the love in the universe had disappeared and become abstract and become something we revelized in. But something you cannot revel in is the genuine nature of love itself. And Dungeon Master loves the Enchantress. He does not know how to tell her. If he could tell her, then he would speak to her in cartoons like these cartoons were floating by and telling the Enchantress that it's okay, that we can smile, even if we're a ghost or a pig or a devil-worshipping Indian cowboy. I forgot to kind of mash those up, and that was on another Facebook apocrypha somewhere. But that this cowboy is part of a family, and that families love, and that they look up to each other. Dungeon Master, I think Enchantress wants to see you, dude. Oh, well, this has been Dungeon Master, what was it? Sorry, I'm unprepared for this. 39. Dungeon Master 39, and now I'm going to, yeah, we got it. Okay. Cut. Final edit. No. We'll see you on Dungeon Master 40.